Okay, folks, we're just about ready to go here. So we'll get the formalities out of the way. If everyone will please rise, we'll have the singing of our national anthem. I don't know which classes are coming out first, but I'll get a lineup sheet here momentarily. Once again, welcome everybody to the Westmoreland Fair. Hope you'll have an interesting time tonight. I know it's going to get a little bit noisy, so you've got to cover some ears here and there when some of these pickups get down the track. We're going to have smoke, we're going to have lots of noise, and hopefully we can have one really enjoyable evening here at the Westmoreland Fair. As soon as I get a lineup sheet, I'll pass it along and tell you what trucks and or tractors will be first out the gate. Thank you. Now we've got a partial lineup here. We're going to pull a 2.6 diesel street class. That'll be on the track nearest the grandstand. And on the other track, we're going to pull the street legal semis. So that'll be the first two classes out the gate here tonight at the Westmoreland Fair. Well, I've got a few moments. I want to thank everyone, not only for coming, but for the men and women throughout this country and throughout this state of Pennsylvania that help keep us safe. Our military personnel, all our police departments, our rescue people, fire departments that help keep us safe so we can do what we're doing here tonight in Westmoreland County. So a big shout out and a thank you to all of them. Well, after our first two classes here, the next class on track 1 will be the limited pro tractors, and on track 2 will be the 3.6 pro street class, semi-class. So here we come. Who's our first competitor here, young lady? First pull on the semi-class, Henry. He's out of Latrobe. He's driving an 82 Kenworth. Chevy, calls it Harvester Wrecker. Harvest Wrecker. And I believe we're going to reset that second class on track 2 there. But on track 1, we've got Renee D. with a Chevy from Elwood City, Pennsylvania. Renee Dean on track 1 with the Harvest Wrecker, she calls it. Renee went 362.44 inches. That's the mark to beat right now. Now on track 2, we've got a different Ford, Roger Eric. He's from Mount Pleasant with an 86 Mac. I'm sure they reset the sleigh, so that'll make it just a tad bit harder for him to get as far as the other one did. Because when Luke went down the track, he didn't even have to back out of it. He was right into the wall if he didn't.
Let's set it. All right, so into our 2.6 trucks here, waiting to get a word from trackside what we're going to do.
All right, I think you're ready for Roger. We're going to get the other truck out of the way. She was going to track this clear. We'll be able to get Roger down the track. There's 2 semis in that particular track.
So getting ready to go over on the semi side.
You tell me on track 1 here, the sled is set. On track 2,
Right now we are in the street semis.
I was still waiting for the...
And our next truck coming out on the 2-6 side is going to be Matt Deal out of New Galley with the Dodge he calls working on.
Something happened with the semi down there. It could be a really bad situation to develop real quick. We're going to have safety first here.
So it looks like on the 2-6 side, making an adjustment to the sled. So we'll see Renee Dean come back with the harvest wrecker.
He's driving a Dodge. His truck working along. Came all the way from New Galley, PA, to be here tonight. We're glad to have you with us, young man.
So did get word trackside is they did not reset. So Renee Dean out at 360. Going to bring up Matt Deal.
Well, they tell me that the full pole mark is 300, but Renee went 62 feet past that. So that's one that will off to see what the other 2 competitors can do. Right now coming on the track is Dustin Kerber. Lamar Pleasant. That must be LP. I'm sorry. That's Dustin Kerber. Driving an 84 Peterbilt. Semi-class is 326 and change. Let's see what Dustin can do to change that number. There we go, Dustin Kerber. driver's seat for right now. One more truck to go.
All right, now it looks like we got Matt Deal getting backed in. Is that mark to beat out beyond 360?
Kevin Wilson from Dunbar at a 75 Ford. They were off to a good start here tonight at Westmoreland. It's going to be a little closer after a while, a little more exciting. We're going to have a lot of smoke flying here in a little bit.
All right, looks like the green flags are out for Matt Deal with working on.
All right, Matt Deal is back into the sled right now. I'm the one that made the mistake there, so I apologize.
It looks like we're getting ready to go to our 3-6 semis, our Pro Street semis over on the infield side. Deal with quite the run there. So we'll get his distance from the laser, but I think he's going to be our new leader in the class. So Matt Deal goes 375 and change. He'll be the new leader. As we have one more to go here in the 2-6 Pro Street. Coming up out of Dunbar, Pennsylvania with a 75 Ford will be Kevin Nelson. So adding some more weight over on the infield side as we'll get ready with the 3-6 Pro Street semis over there. And we'll bring up our next truck on 2-6. Kevin Nelson.
On the semi side, your winner was Dustin Kerber. Second place was Henry, and third was Roger Weber. So what's our next class?
So our first truck going to be coming out on the 3-6 Pro Street semi side out of Terra Alta, West Virginia with an 89 Mack Superliner. This is going to be Nick Lowry with a truck he calls Moose's Mutt.
Kevin Nelson is on track one.
So over on the 2-6 side here, looks like Kevin Nelson's got the chain tight. He'll wait for the final pass of the scraper rollers. He'll get ready to go. That mark to beat out at 375.
It's hard to tell what might happen. On track two, we're going to pull the 3 3-6 Pro Street Semi class will be over there. Here we go with Kevin Nelson.
Kevin Nelson putting down a good run there. So Kevin's distance 356. So run down in the 2-6 Pro Street class. Third place will go to Kevin Nelson. Second's going to go to Renee Dean. And your winner tonight, Matt Deal with Working On.
Kevin Nelson brought up third place. I want to introduce our third queen.
So we'll get the sled on the grandstand side reset as we get ready to go with Limited Pro tractors. We've got an awesome class of those A-pump tractors here tonight. Looks like we're still adding weight over on the infield side as we get ready to go with 3-6 Pro Street.
Hi everyone, thank you guys for coming out on behalf of the Westmoreland Fair. We thank you all for being here. We hope you all stick around for a long time and keep cheering on these exhibitors. So thank you.
All right, Dave, thank you very much. Thank you. Once again, they're going to be firing some T-shirts up there. I don't know what kind of a cannon they're going to use, but I got to throw some up there. So stay tuned. Sooner or later, they'll be out there.
All right, so it looks like we are just about ready to go over on the Pro Street side. Nick Lowry coming to the sled with the Moose's Mutt.
I heard something go off. On track one now, this class will be the limited pro practice. And we've got how many in this class? We got a whole pocket full of them over here, a whole basket. 13, yeah, that's a baker's dozen, Lord. On track two, we've got Nick Lowry from Terra Alta, West Virginia. There'll be two trucks in that particular class. Nick Henry and Mike Adams. I hear you hollering. They must be missing you. You run up here, I'll catch it.
So Nick Lowry getting back in the sled as we're getting ready to go on this grandstand side with the A-pump tractors. Green flags are out for Nick Lowry with Moose's Mutt. Starting off our 3-6 Pro Street semis. So Nick's distance, 346 and change. We'll find out if our sled's set and if he's going to keep that. next truck coming out in the 3-6 Pro Street semis, it's going to be Mike Adams out of Swickley, Pennsylvania, with the W900 Kenworth. He calls as is. Mike's been running very strong this season. So real tough running Caterpillar powered Kenworth coming to the sled for Mike Adams with as is. Going to look to go beyond that 346 mark. All right, so the green flags are out for Mike Adams with as is, looking to go beyond 346. Truck running out of power on him at the end of the run. Been fighting that truck a little bit off and on this season. So it looks like we're ready to go over on the Limited Pro side, and we've got a good solid class of those tractors here tonight. Our first competitor coming to the line out of Natrona Heights, Pennsylvania with a John Deere. This is Greg Farringer with the tractor he calls Smokin' John. Very, very tough competitor. He was our second place tractor up at the Butler Farm Show just a couple weeks ago, with a very, very close finish there. That finish come down to just 0.2 of a foot. So the green flags are out for Greg Farringer with Smokin' John.
Make a little more smoke here tonight inside of Westmoreland.
Greg Farringer putting down a good run there to kick things off in the Limited Pro class. We'll wait to get his official distance. So getting ready to go, our final truck in the 3-6 Pro Street class.
You got a better 346 and change if you want to take her at #1 in there.
Up next, out of Grampian, Pennsylvania, with an 89 Max Superliner, this is Audie Pence with the truck he calls Brutus. Strong running V8 powered Mac getting ready to go down the track. Audie's going to get stopped up there around that 300 mark.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We appreciate you coming out. Now, track 1, we're looking for Scott Kissling. He's driving International 1066. He calls Dr. Liz.
So getting ready to go with our next tractor over on the Limited Pro side. This is Scott Kiskadon with the tractor he calls Dr. LZ. Coming in out of the eastern part of the state. And we've got a few of those tractors from out east here tonight.
Now on track 2, we'll have Super Farm Hot Farm. Those are smoker tractors. So that'll give us a little different competition on track 2. Put more weight in the sled. These tractors are a little not heavier, but they can do a little better job of going.
So it looks like over on the infield side, getting ready to go with Hot Farm, Super Farm.
Scott Kissenden on track 1 with an International.
All right, green flags are out for Scott with the Dr. LZ. Looking to go out beyond that 345 mark put down by Greg Farringer. Oh, and I think he got it.
I got the wrong track. Come on. It's Joe Miller with Smokin' Joe. The 4430 Johnny Deere from Mount Pleasant. That's right out the road a ways. The track 2 is Super Farm Hot Farm. We got Ray Shaw. Dick Janelle. Salvador. First three that left.
All right, so it looks like our next Limited Pro tractor getting ready to come to the line. Out of Mount Pleasant, Pennsylvania. with a John Deere 4430. This is going to be Joe Miller with the tractor he calls Smokin' Joe. He had a good run. Haven't seen him out much this season, but he did make it over to Smithfield, Ohio on last Friday, where he was the winner of the class. So it looks like they're getting the infield sled reset, getting ready to go with Hot Farm, Super Farm on that infield track. All right, so green flags are out for Joe Miller. Joe Miller putting down a good solid pass. Going to come up short of that leader cone. We'll see what his official mark is. So Joe Miller out around that 335 mark. That'll get ready to bring up our next tractor. Another one of those tractors coming in from out in the eastern part of the state. This is Eddie Oker with the Bull Ride. New Holland 8970. You have the distance for Scott Kiston on. Okay, and then can you also radio down the distances for the infield track, because I can't hear them over the intercom. Thank you. All right, so it looks like we're getting ready to go on the infield side. Hot Farm, Super Farm, Brady Shaw against the grain out of New Alexandria, Pennsylvania. Getting up past that 300-foot mark. Good, solid run to kick things off here in Hot Farm, Super Farm. Brady's distance 307.45, 307.45. So we'll find out if he is going to keep that or turn it down. We'll make sure our sled is set. But that is a good solid pass to kick things off here in the Hot Farm Super Farm. So word from trackside is Brady is going to take that. So now the mark to beat on that infield side, 307.45. As we get ready to bring up the bull ride over on the Limited Pro side. And our next tractor coming to the line in the Hot Farm Super Farm. This is going to be a Super Farm coming out of Millsboro, Pennsylvania with an International 1066. This is going to be Ted Giovanelli with a tractor he calls Shazam. So green flags are out for the bull ride. He's going to get stopped up around that 300-foot mark. So we'll get his distance from the laser, see where he is at in the class. So the distance for Eddie on the bull ride, 314.14. 314.14. So we'll see another New Holland coming to the line. We've got a lot of these tractors from out east here tonight. This one's a New Holland T6 175. Scott Kiskadon coming back to the line with a tractor he calls Bleeding Blue. As we get ready to go on the Hot Farm Super Farm side with Ted Giovanelli. So he's looking to get beyond that 307 mark for the lead. So green flags are out. Ted Giovanelli with Shazam, our first super farm of the class. He's going to be up around that 300-foot mark. You have a distance for that. So the distance for Ted Giovanelli with Shazam, 300.20. So these guys, this is a very competitive class of tractors. We have seen some very close distances in both of these classes this year. So getting ready for Bleeding Blue over on the Limited Pro side. Green flags are out. Oh, had a good run going there. He is up close with the leaders. Scott Kiskadon with Bleeding Blue. Those aren't right to begin with. I didn't get the first couple. I could only hear them. Okay. They're good. All right, so Scott's distance on Bleeding Blue, 335.74. 335.74. 335.74. right. That was only going on the intercom.
Well, it looks like this one right here went further than that one, but I'm not sure. That's fine.
All right, so we're going to stay on the Super Farm side of the class as our next tractor out of Hadley, Pennsylvania comes to the line with the Ford 8000. This is Mark Zindlinger with a tractor he calls Babe. Good running Super Farm. So this tractor, a former Hot Farm tractor, converted this over to Super Farm in the 2024 season. Got to see him make a couple runs, had some mechanical issues. They got that tractor all fixed up over the winter months. And it has been strong here in 2025.
First three distances in Limited Pro. I didn't hear them.
All right, so the green flags are out for Mark Zindlinger with Babe. Looking to get beyond 307. I think he's going to be our new leader in that Hot Farm Super Farm class, as he just put down a monster pass for Mark Zindlinger with Babe. And the official distance for Mark Zindlinger with Babe, 326.98. So he's going to stretch that lead way out there. Moving that leader cone about 20 feet as we get ready to go with our next tractor in the Limited Pro class out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania on the New Holland 8970. This is going to be Kayla Graham with the tractor she calls Billet Blue. So already a win on the season. So she took the win up at the Butler Farm Show, just 0.2 of a foot over Greg Farringer. She was second place last Friday down at Jefferson Township. Right now she's got to go beyond 345 for the lead. Kayla Graham with Billet Blue. Oh, and an unfortunate run there. Something not right under the hood of that tractor. They're going to check things out.
Yeah, looks like it quit, sir. There's nothing too serious on that part.
She had a good run going. Something in that motor not right there once she got up around that 250 mark.
Now on track 2, we've got Brad McFarland with a John Deere 6030.
So the distance for Kayla Graham with Billet Blue, 306.80. 306.80. Unfortunate run for her here tonight. She was looking to put down a win for the hometown crowd. So getting ready to go now over on the Hot Farm Super Farm side out of New Wilmington, Pennsylvania with a John Deere 6030. This is going to be Brad McFarland with the tractor he calls Untamed. These guys were just out at the National Pulling Championships last weekend in Bowling Green, Ohio, competing against about 35 other super farms out there.
We'll get the green all the way down the track and we're ready to roll.
So green flags are out for Brad McFarland with Untamed, looking to go beyond 326 for the lead. Good run going. Looks like he's going to get past that leader cone. We'll wait to get his official mark. Needed to go beyond 326.9. And the distance for Brad McFarland on Untamed, 333.88. So he's your new leader in the class. So getting ready to go now over on the Limited Pro side on a Ford 9600. This is going to be Macy Kiskadon with the tractor she calls the Smoke Show. That lead still out at 345 for Scott Kiskadon with the Dr. LZ. So Macy's distance on the Smoke Show, 298.92, 298.92. So getting ready to go now over on the Hot Farm Super Farm side. Sorry, correction for Macy Kiskadon, 290.92, 290.92. And over on the Hot Farm Super Farm side, staying with the Super Farm tractors out of Ligonier, Pennsylvania on an MX270. This is going to be Wesley Binky with a tractor he calls the Buckin' Binder.
Well, Brad, looks like we're about halfway through our Limited Pro class here tonight. Boy, an incredible class of A-pump tractors. I mean, talk about a great show here tonight at the Westmoreland Fair.
Yeah, we've got a lot of A-pump tractors here, and a lot of tractors we haven't seen in the western part of the state in a long time. Some of these guys coming in out of the eastern part of the state, and this next one coming up on the track is a very, very strong tractor out of that Chambersburg group with the Ford 9000. This is Jason Forrester with a legendary tractor called Papa Smurf.
Well, and you say legendary. I mean, legendary it is. Papa Smurf. Of course, the Forresters bringing 5 tractors out to Westmoreland here tonight to compete with CS Pulling Promotions.
Yeah, this is an awesome group of tractors. One of the biggest classes of A-pump tractors we have seen in quite some time in this area.
Wes Binky. There on the Hot Farm Super Farm side.
And the Buckin' Binder putting down a good solid pass. distance for Wes Binky on the buck and binder, 308.82. 308.82. That's going to currently put him number 3 in the class.
Well, and Brad, looking at our points, this is going to round out the Hot Farm Super Farm points for 2025 with CS Pulling Promotions. I originally wanted to run those tractors there at Pine Lake at Champions Pulling for Children, but they are going to be at Waterford that night, of course. So this will round out the points series for the Hot Farm Super Farm tractors. An incredible tractor class, brand new combo class. As time goes on, we see that tractor class just grow and grow.
Yeah, that combo class has been working really well. We've seen winners on both sides of that class from the Hot Farms and the Super Farms. Very, very close in horsepower. So the Super Farms, bigger cubic inch, smaller turbocharger. They are running the bigger tires. And the Hot Farms on the smaller tires. So it looks like the green flags are out for Jason Forrester, Papa Smurf, looking to go beyond 345 for the lead. Oh, what a run. Looks like he's going to come up a little bit short, but very impressive pass for the Papa Smurf.
Well, just to see Jason Forrester out here with Papa Smurf, huge thing here for Westmoreland Fair.
Yeah. One of those tractors that has been around for a long time, and Jason put down a good pass there. So Jason's distance, 335.10, 335.10. And these guys are really stacked up there around that 335 mark. We've got several tractors right there. So, as usual, very, very competitive class.
Well, I'd like to give a huge shout out to Graham Dairy Supply, the official title sponsor of tonight's Limited Pro class. They put up an extra $500 for the purse for these tractors, bringing the purse to $4,000. That's the largest purse we've seen for these 8-pump Limited Pro tractors here in 2025.
Yeah, and we're getting ready to go over on our Hot Farm Super Farm side. So our next tractor getting backed into the sled, we're going back over to the Hot Farm side of that class, and this tractor here has been just absolutely phenomenal in 2025. Multiple former points champion in the class. On an International 1066 out of Volant, Pennsylvania. This is Brian McConnell with the tractor he calls the Milkman's Mojo.
Out of the pulling capital of the world, as we always say.
Yeah, the pulling capital of the world, Volant, Pennsylvania. We were up there at Lawrence County, last week? And I think every tractor in the class was from Volant.
Brian McConnell, Milkman's Mojo.
Look at that, right on by the leader cone. I'd say we're going to have a new leader. The mark to beat was 333 for Brad McFarland with Untamed. And indeed, we do have a new leader, Brian McConnell with the Milkman's Mojo, 348.72. 348.72. So getting ready to come up now in the Limited Pro side of the class out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania on International. This is going to be Aaron Bradish with a tractor he calls Recycled Red.
So Brian McConnell, our points leader coming into this event, the Hot Farm Super Farm division. Now we are collecting points separately for the Hot Farm Super Farm tractors. They're running as a combo class, but points are collected separately. So it looks like we got the green lights on the sled, green flags out. Who we got now, Brad?
The Recycled Red, Aaron Bradish. Stopped up around that 300-foot mark. And a distance for Aaron Bradish on the recycled red, 307.38. 307.38.
Well, the Bradishes, no amateurs here in the sport of pulling. Of course, a relative there running the M80 tractor, the diesel superstock.
Yeah, and got a chance to get to go out there to Bowling Green last Saturday and got to see Mark run the M80 out there and put down an awesome pass. Both sessions out there with the M80.
We do have a Pro Stock Super Stock combo class coming up here a little bit later on as well. So it looks like we got your next Hot Farm Super Farm tractor rolling on to the infield side of the track.
Yeah, out of Somerset with an International 1206. It's going to be Sam McWilliams.
This is a tractor we don't see a whole lot on the CS circuit, but of course always enjoy having them here at the events. And close to home tonight, so awesome to see him here at the Westmoreland Fair.
Yeah, and we're getting ready to bring our next tractor up over on the Limited Pro side out of Marion Center, Pennsylvania on a John Deere 4320. This is Gavin Stewart. Now Gavin got this tractor partway through the season last year. Come out strong here in 2025. Been doing the driving all season. So green flags are out for Sam McWilliams with the International 1206. And the distance for Sam McWilliams, 315.84. 315.84. So we'll get the rundown here momentarily in the Hot Farm Super Farm class as we get ready to go on the A-Pump side on the Limited Pros with Gavin Stewart. So rundown in the Hot Farm Super Farm class. 7th place going to go to Ted Giovanelli with Shazam. 6th place will go to Brady Shaw with Against the Grain. 5th place will go to Wes Binky with the Buck and Binder. 4th place will be Sam McWilliams with the 1206. 3rd place is going to be Mark Sidlinger with Babe. 2nd, Brad McFarland with Untamed. And your winner tonight, Brian McConnell. So your winner tonight, Brian McConnell with the Milkman's Mojo. So we'll get that infield sled reset. We'll get the distance here for Gavin Stewart. And Gavin's distance, 324.5-inch super stock trucks. Very good running class of 4x4s getting ready to come to the line. Limited to 410 cubic inches, but these guys turn these motors in excess of 10,000 RPMs. So our next tractor out of Latrobe, Pennsylvania with an International 1066. This is going to be Nick Harr with the Devil Dog.
And it's a really nice class. They've been running that here for a number of years at Westmoreland Fair. We're glad to see them back here once again. And Nick Harr will be our next four on track one. He is just out the road here.
So Nick Harr coming to line. First we've seen Nick out in the 2025 season. They've been working on that tractor, wanted to have it ready for their hometown fair. So they're going to see what it'll do tonight. Is that lead still out at 345 for Scott Kiskanon with the Dr. LZ. we've got a whole stack of tractors back at that 335 mark. So we'll get that infield sled reset.
I don't know about you, young lady, but you look like an acrobat come down out of those bleachers. And you didn't even upset your fries. How do you do that? She didn't even hear me. And she was a ballerina coming out of the bleachers.
So it looks like Nick Harr's got the chain tight. Green flags are out for Nick Harr on the Devil Dog. Nick Harr with the Devil Dog putting down a good solid pass. Now this tractor, you just got to see go down the track. This is a Super Farm tractor. A little different setup on the infield Super Farm. So the Super Farm tractors running against the Hot Farms are not allowed to run an intercooler. The Super Farms are allowed to run in the Limited Pro class with an intercooler. So that is the setup they're running on the Devil Dog. So Super Farm tractor with an intercooler. So the distance for Nick Harr on the Devil Dog, 300.34, 300.34. So the next tractor we'll see coming to the line over on the Limited Pro side out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. This is going to be Nathan Graham. With the Ford 9000, he calls the Blue Reaper. Nathan missed a couple hooks here in the season, had some mechanical issues, got that tractor just put back together. So this will be the first pass since they've made those repairs. As we get ready to go in our super stock truck class on the infield side, our first competitor out of Cadiz, Ohio with a Chevy K2500. This is going to be Richard Eberhardt with a truck he calls Pieces and Parts. Very close points battle going on in this class with just a couple more hooks to go.
This class is going to need a little bit of noise here, so you might want to cover your ears a little bit.
Looks like Richard's going to get the chain tight as he's going to kick things off in the super stock truck class. Richard Eberhardt, Pieces and Parts. Richard Eberhardt putting down a good solid pass to kick things off here in the super stock trucks. So we'll get his distance. So the distance for Richard Eberhardt with Pieces and Parts, 327.1, 327.1. Pieces and Parts to kick things off here. So getting ready to go on the Limited Pro side. Nathan Graham with the Blue Reaper. That lead mark still out at 3:45. So just got word from the track side is Richard's going to keep that hook. So the mark to beat over on the Superstock truck side, 3:27.1. As we get ready to go with our next Limited Pro, Nathan Graham and the Blue Reaper. And getting ready to come to the line over on the Superstock truck side out of Brookfield, Ohio with a 1933 Chevrolet. This is going to be Luke Simeon with the truck he calls Out of the Blue.
Of course, Graham Dairy Supply, one of the big sponsors here, the Limited Pro 8-pump tractor class. Nathan Graham gets the green flags for the Blue Reaper Ford 9000 right here out of Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Well, looks like he's going to come up a little bit short of that leader cone, but hey, not a bad run here.
No, not for getting that tractor just put back together. Missing a couple of hooks here in the middle of the season. It may have sounded like was having a little bit of trouble getting hooked up down there on the starting line, too. It sounded like that tractor not biting into the track right off the starting line the way he wanted. And the distance for Nathan Graham with the Blue Reaper, 306.1, 306.1. So one tractor to go in the Limited Pro class out of Madison, Pennsylvania with an International 1466. It's going to be Ron Higgins with the tractor he calls the Red Rush. So getting ready to go on that Superstock truck side for Luke Simeon's Out of the Blue.
Well, top truck in points as well. Going into Smithfield, we did have like I believe it was a three-way tie in points going into that event. Looks like Luke Simeon leading points here after Smithfield, 334. And back in black, the runner-up so far, 332. So close points race for these 410 Superstock trucks. We got Westmoreland tonight, and then Champions Pulling for Children will be the final hook for this class here, 2025.
Yeah, always a very, very close, very competitive class. And we had a three-way tie going into Smithfield where Luke Simeon come out on top. And we still got Trevor Kenzorski to go with the back and black truck. But we did get to see Richard Eberhardt. He was in that three-way tie. We got to see him go down the track already and put down the mark of 327.
Well, we love to see those really close points races. And speaking of close points races, we got the Super Semis coming up later on. Joey Bonner, Dale Francis, both tied for points here this year, coming into this event, both tied 190 points with Maximus Prime number 1, Maximus Prime number 2, and they'll be coming up later on tonight in the Super Semi division. We do have Silver Bullet here and Bud Kranauer with the Bad Intentions. Always a fan favorite truck there on the infield side, getting set to run tonight. Working on getting Nathan pulled off the track there.
You're talking about fan favorites. Last Thursday, we actually did a crowd favorite award down at New Martinsville, Town and Country Days down there on Thursday night, where that was Calvin Brown took home the win down there in the fan favorite.
Absolutely, the Buckeye bow tie. Let's see what Luke can do. Out of the blue.
Luke Simeon out of the blue, going right on by that leader cone.
Boy, a monster pass there put down by Luke.
the distance for Luke Simeon with Out of the Blue, 3:42.89, 3:42.89.
That'll bring up another top point getter here, Ronnie Jack, the bounty hunter. Next up on the super stock side.
So last tractor getting ready to go in the limited pro class, Ron Higgins with the Red Rush.
Also, where trackside is, they're going to move the super semis onto the infield side track. Try to keep the show pretty evened out. So final limited pro tractor here tonight, Ron Higgins.
The distance for Ron Higgins with the Red Rush, 281.74, 281.74, and getting ready to go on that super stock side. It's going to be Ron Jack with the Bounty Hunter. Now, not only is Ron the only Ford in the class, he's the only truck out of the state of Pennsylvania.
So Ronnie Jack currently sitting 5th here in points so far in 2025. Did only miss one hook with CS Pulling Promotions. Did take a mechanical drop there for the Lake County Fair up in Paynesville, Ohio.
Boy, something a little interesting here, Chase. We had one tractor out at 345. The next 4 tractors all at 335 in that last class. So talk about a tight class of tractors.
Well, that's exactly what we like to see here.
And run down to the top 5 in the class. 5th place was Jason Forrester with Papa Smurf. 4th place was Greg Farringer with Smokin' John. 3rd place goes to Scott Kiskadon with the Bleeding Blue. 2nd, Joe Miller with Smokin' Joe. And your winner, Scott Kiskadon with Dr. LC. As we're turning Ronnie Jack loose with the Bounty Hunter.
Uh-oh, running out of ponies there at the end of the track.
Yeah, he really pulled down there around that 300-foot mark. Hopefully nothing wrong with that engine, but he does have a little bit of time for our last points hook. But definitely pulled down hard right around that 300-foot.
Well, what you see tonight, incredible pulling service here at Westmoreland Fair. They say one of the best tracks a lot of these pullers have seen. So the crew here has been super easy to work with. Ended up coming a little bit early this morning and started working on the track in the wee hours of the morning. One of 2 dual track shows on the CS circuit.
And the distance for Ron Jack with the Bounty Hunter, 321.10, 321.10.
So it looks like they're down there making some sled adjustments there before moving to your next track. our next class on this track.
So getting ready to go with our next truck in Superstock out of Dorset, Ohio with the Chevrolet. This is going to be Calvin Brown with the truck he calls the Buckeye Bowtie.
This is a truck that actually just got it back together here. Did have some engine trouble with that truck. Got it back together just a couple hours ago and left to come here. Just pulled in about 20 minutes ago, got unloaded, got teched, and made it back out here into the lineup.
So on the grandstand side, getting ready to go with Pro Mod trucks. Now, typically we say Pro Mod four-wheel drive, but not all four-wheel drives here tonight. Actually kicking things off with a two-wheel drive truck in the class.
Local Aaron Zundel with the Steel City Shaker, the Chevy here out of New Alexandria, Pennsylvania, right down the road. And new driver here in the seat. This will be his first year competing. Already has a couple hooks under his belt. They called us up and said they wanted to come run at their hometown fair. So always like to see the Zundels. Typically do see Colton Zundel, the Steel City Smoker, the light pro stock. And it looks like Calvin Brown Jr. pulling out onto the track now on the infield side.
Yeah, that mark to beat over there right now, 342.89 for Luke Simeon.
Well, and you got to be wondering, you think Richie's thinking maybe he should have dropped that hook and come back at the end of the class?
Yeah, I don't know. It looked like a good, solid pass to start things off. Looked like Luke tried a little bit of a different line, and it just panned out for him. We'll see where he ends up in the class, but 327, good, solid to start things off. So Calvin Brown getting ready to go with the Buckeye Bowtie. The crowd favorite last week down in New Martinsville.
Well, a brand new look for this truck as well here in 2025. They did get a new wrap on it. Both trucks, Calvin actually purchased the other 410 Super Stock in his fleet this year as well.
Yeah, the other truck in that team, the Buckeye Bandit, not here tonight. But they've had a pretty good run so far with that truck, being new on the circuit in 2025.
Well, Trad Dill went from crew chief to now running one of the trucks as well. So there it is. Looks like they're ready on the infield side. Calvin Brown Jr. out of Dorset, Ohio, the Buckeye Bowtie.
Right there on that leader mark. We're going to have to get that distance because that is too close to call.
Boy, a monster pass put down by Calvin Brown Jr. I don't know what he did to that engine, but boy, it must have helped.
Yeah, he's got that truck down in here tonight.
Well, talking about an experienced competitor, too. You know, he's had lots of hooks under his belt, knows how to read a track, and that definitely helps coming to do an event like this as well. Aaron Zundel sets up the run here. Steel City Shaker.
Wow, what a run for the Steel City Shaker, kicking things off in the Pro Mod class. You know, Chase, we always talk about this super stock truck class being close. Luke Simeon has the lead at 342.89. Luke Simeon leading out at 342.89. Calvin Brown with the Buckeye Bowtie, 342.84.
Wow, incredible distance there put down by Calvin Brown Jr.
Yeah, just fractions of a foot now dividing those guys. So we'll find out if that 336.36 is going to stand for Colton Zundel, or Aaron Zundel, with the Steel City Shaker. As we've got 2 more to go over on the Superstock side. Our next competitor coming out of Atwater, Ohio. This will be Brian Coya with the Chevy S10. He calls the Outwitted 2.
So we'll see trackside. They're going to keep that sled where it's at. Maybe tighten it up a little bit here for the Pro Mod trucks. I'd like to see these guys a little closer to that 300 foot. And looks like he did get out of it as well mid-track and then got back into it. Man, he had that truck running pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good solid pass. And we got a little more room to work, but not a lot. So we've got some good trucks coming up, so we'll see what's going to go on here with the sled setting.
Well, and that's one of those things, too. You don't really want to reset, but when it comes down to the safety side of things, you know, you just have to look and see, you know, we don't really have a lot of runoff there at the end of the track. So I have to watch stuff like that. But we got a lot of experienced drivers here in the Pro Mod class as well. As your next 410 Superstock truck gets hooked up there.
Yeah, Brian Coyle with the Outwitted 2. He's had some good solid passes. Been right up there with the leaders these last couple hooks. So right now that mark to beat, 342.89.
Well, this is just one of those trucks you see out on the circuit. It's just super consistent. You know, every hook makes a good solid pass and is able to stay at the top in points just because of the consistency. And that is the key here with that point system.
Yeah, and we see that truck out consistently. Very seldom do we see that truck missing because of mechanical issues. So it's a good, consistent truck. So getting ready to go on the Pro Mod side now. Out of Valley Grove, West Virginia, with a Ford. This is going to be Brad Berghoff with the truck he calls the Attitude Adjuster 2. Supercharged 4-wheel drive power, getting ready to come to the track. Brian Coya putting down a good run there. We'll get his official distance. All right, distance for Brian Coyle with the Outwitted 2, 324.54, 324.54. So that's currently 4th place in the class with 1 to go. Our final truck in the Superstock class out of Edina, Ohio, with a 1966 Chevrolet. This is going to be Trevor Kinzorski with the truck they call Back in Black.
On track 1, we're looking for Brad Berghoff. He's out of West Virginia, Valley Grove, West Virginia.
So right now the lead in the Superstock truck class, Luke Simeon out at 342.89. In second place is Calvin Brown with the Buckeye bow tie at 342.84. So So I did get word from trackside is they made a slight sled adjustment over on the Pro Mod side. So we're going to tighten that sled up a little bit, try to make sure we keep these guys right around that 300-foot mark so we've got plenty of runoff room for safety.
310-482, and your pot is $660. You can collect that at the entry gate, collect it at the entry gate.
So our final super stock coming to line as they get that sled ready to go on the Pro Mod side for Brad Berghoff with the Attitude Adjuster 2.
On track 2, he's driving a Chevy from Medina, Ohio. He calls it Back in Black. Now they tell me on track 1 we're going to reset the sled because they didn't think it was that distance and the result put down would hold out for these other trucks. So they're going to try it again. So we'll see what goes on there. But anyway, on track 2.
All right, so it sounds like Brad Berghoff getting things fired up with the Attitude Adjuster 2. So the green flags are out for Trevor Kenzorski, Back in Black, looking to get beyond that 324 mark, take home a win here tonight. A good run going there. Seemed like that truck really pulled down though at the end of the run, just ran out of power on him. We'll wait to get his official distance and we'll have a run down in the class. He's going to come up a little bit short tonight. Berghoff putting down a good solid pass and he stopped up around that 300-foot mark. So the distance for Brad Berghoff with the Attitude Adjuster 2, 319.74, 319.74.
19.74 feet. That would be the distance to beat right now. 319 to change.
And the distance for Trevor Kenzorski with Back in Black, 3.
He's from West Alexander, PA. Called the Attitude Adjuster.
Say Trevor was 334.
All right, distance for Trevor Kenzorski with Back in Black, 334.10. So we'll have a run down here momentarily in that class. So in the Super Stock truck, 6th place is going to go to Ron Jack with the Bounty Hunter. Fifth place is going to go to Brian Coyle with the Outwitted 2. Fourth place will go to Richard Eberhardt with Pieces and Parts. Third place goes to Trevor Kenzorski with the Back in Black. Second place will go to Calvin Brown with the Buckeye Bow Tie. And your winner tonight, Luke Simeon with Out of the Blue. We'll get the sled reset on that infield track as we get ready to go with the Super Semis. And our next truck coming up in the Pro Mod class out of West Alexander, Pennsylvania with a 1972 Chevrolet. This is going to be Jerry Berghoff with the truck he calls Attitude Adjuster Reloaded. Now, Jerry used to compete with a two-wheel drive truck called the Attitude Adjuster. A few years ago, they made the switch over to four-wheel drive with the Attitude Adjuster Reloaded. So right now that marked the beat at 319.74. We'll get that sled on the infield side, loaded up with a lot of weight here as we get ready to go with the 20,000-pound Super Semi division.
Well, of course, the fan favorite class as well, Maximus Prime 1 and 2, Silver Bullet number 1, and Bud Cranauer's truck here as well tonight. So Bad Intentions did have that turbo malfunction at the Ashtabula County Fair. Got her put back together just for this event here tonight.
Yeah, that was quite the turbo explosion up there at Ashtabula. They worked hard to get that truck put back together. As we're getting ready to go with Jerry Berghoff with the Attitude Adjuster Reloaded, marked the beat at 319.74.
I believe this was actually our winner from the Big Butler Fair early on in the season.
I think you're correct on that one. This is a very tough supercharged truck coming to the line. And Jerry, a long-time puller. Like I said just a few minutes ago, started out in the two-wheel drive class. This family very involved with pulling.
Yeah, the Berghoff's campaigning 2 Pro Mod trucks out here in 2025. After Jerry Berghoff, we'll see Eddie Zedrick in the truck called Thunder, and then Doug Show, Showtime. We'll see Aaron Zunn will come back with a Steel City Shaker as well. We did do a sled reset.
All right, so it looks like Jerry's got the chain tight. Green flags are out for Jerry Berghoff with the Attitude Adjuster Reloaded. He's going to be right up there near that leader cone. We'll wait to get his distance. So distance for Jerry Berghoff, the Attitude Adjuster Reloaded, 313.2. 313.2.
All right, so it looks like they're just about done getting that sled reset for the Super Semis over on the infield side. And here on the Pro Mod side, we'll look for Eddie Zedrick, another supercharged truck. The truck he calls Thunder out of Shakur, Pennsylvania. Of course, Eddie Zedrick, also one of the track officials for CS Pulling Promotions. Tonight not helping out because he's actually in the driver's seat, but we do have Reba here helping. That'd be his daughter. The whole family helping out here on the CS Pulling Promotions circuit. for all the fans watching at home. I'd like to thank everyone watching on Facebook and YouTube. Tonight's a live stream presented by Graham Dairy Supply, the title sponsor of the A-Pump Limited Pro Tractors here tonight.
Yeah, and we're seeing Eddie in the driver's seat. He's been doing the driving pretty much all season. Used to see Crystal drive this truck quite a bit when they had the 2-truck team, but Eddie sold the Thunder truck off. This is the Thunderbolt coming to the line.
And we like to pick on Eddie a little bit. Sometimes we tell him, hey, if you didn't win, maybe you should have let Crystal drive. Of course, Crystal very aggressive behind the wheel.
Yeah, the little lady with the heavy foot. She definitely will run this truck for all it's worth. So we were down at a pool one night, and Eddie goes out and puts down a monster pass. He's out near almost 400 feet. And Crystal said, I'm going to beat him or go for broke. Well, unfortunately, she didn't beat him that night, but we took the truck back to the trailer in pieces. So not afraid to drive this truck hard when she's behind the wheel. But we've seen Eddie at the controls this season. So getting ready to go. The mark to beat at 319 still for Brad Berghoff with the Attitude Adjuster 2. So Eddie's got the chain tight. He'll wait for the green flag.
All right, here we go. Eddie Zedrick, truck called Thunderbolt. What happened there? Something sounded funky on that engine at the end of that run.
Yeah, something in that engine not quite sounding right. Distance for Eddie Zedrick with the Thunderbolt, 306.26. 306.26. Not the run he was looking for here tonight. Truck sounded a little bit off. Maybe something a little bit in the tuning there.
Yeah, and you can see Crystal down here at the end of the track. I don't know if Keeley, our video person's on that or not, but Crystal's down here at the end of the track. She's looking around like, wonder what happened. Or maybe she's saying, maybe I should have drove.
I think that's what she's saying. She's saying, should have put me in the seat tonight.
As we get your first 20,000-pound Super Semi out onto the track.
Yeah, out of Rock Creek, Ohio, with the Kenworth W900. This is Bud Cranauer. Cummins power under the hood.
See, Francis Engineering has a lot to do with this truck as well, helping out behind the scenes, getting this truck ready, and with actually every one of these trucks here tonight.
The only non-Mack power truck in the class tonight.
On track one, we got Coach Show coming in.
Well, looks like they're just about ready to roll here. So had the turbo malfunction there at Ashtabula, blew up to pieces. Got her put back together. Want to make a run here tonight.
There we go.
Top truck here on the point circuit.
Yeah, green flags are out for Bud Cranauer with bad intentions. Truck come out of gear on him. He had a good run going, had a full head of steam, and that truck all of a sudden seemed like it jumped out of gear. So we'll make sure everything's all right. Now, he is a test puller. He does have the option to come back.
So our head track official's down there talking to him now. We'll see if he can come back.
I'm not sure. He looks like he's trying to back up to get unhooked from the sled, and that truck is not moving. So maybe it was not come out of gear. Maybe there's an issue with the clutch on that truck.
So it looks like here on the Pro Mod side, on the grandstand side, Doug Show doing the driving tonight of the Showtime Ford. Another local truck here, right down the road. So this is one of our only diesel-powered trucks in the Pro Mod division tonight.
Yeah, the only lone diesel. Going to see what he can do here against the supercharged power. Oh, and that truck not coming to life for him.
Well, and running back and forth here in the pits, did see those guys. They had something tore apart in that engine. So 221 and 4.6 for Bud. He's out of the truck. Looks like he's not able to come back. You can see Dale Francis and the rest of the crew from Francis Engineering down there assessing the issues with that truck, and we'll see if they can get her fixed up for the next hook, which will be Heidi Benjamin's pool, the DMF Ohio Cancer Benefit Pool there in Randolph, Ohio.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome show over there. We've got the Super Semis, Pro Stock tractors.
Mr. Mike Connie himself coming out.
Yeah, Mike Connie himself, the Mack trailer tractors, very well known out on the national circuit. So it looks like the green flags are out for Doug Show with Showtime, looking to go beyond 319.
Trying to get this truck to light here.
Oh, and it's not going to come off the line for him tonight. That is very unfortunate. They were working on that truck back here in the pits before the pool. I think they were trying to get some issues resolved before they made it to the track. So 14.96, not the run he was hoping for tonight. At least he's able to drive that off the track under its own power. So it looks like we'll have one more truck to go in the Pro Mod class. Aaron Zundel is going to come back with the Steel City Shaker. Now he went 336 his first pass down the track. The sled was reset. So it looks like having a little bit of issue getting Bud Cranauer off the track. Hopefully nothing is locked up in that truck. So our next truck getting ready to come to line in the Super Semis out of Manawa, Ohio with a 1985 Max Superliner. This is going to be Joey Bonner with the Maximus Prime.
Well, we always like to say Joey Bonner, one of the young guns on the circuit. This is his first year competing with the Maximus Prime 1, a part of our points series. Last year, his dad, Richard Bonner, actually drove the truck, top truck in points in the Super Semi division back in 2024.
Yeah, and we say Joey's new to the pulling circuit, but no stranger to motorsports. He actually runs a circle track car. So got out of the race car, climbed into the pulling truck, and he has been running very strong here all season.
I do believe that's actually be Albert Francis that is doing the racing. And he will be running the Silver Bullet number 1 later on tonight.
Oh, that's right. You are correct. Albert Francis does the stock car racing.
Yeah, he was actually just at a race a couple hours ago and pulled in about 8:30, so looking at that, about an hour ago. A lot of people don't realize, out of Francis Engineering, Albert Francis does a lot there behind the scenes to help out. Another one of the young guns on the circuit. That truck currently sitting 3rd in points, the Silver Bullet number 1.
So it looks like Aaron Zundel got the Steel City Shaker fired up, coming back in. And unfortunately, it looks like the rear end is locked up on the Bad Intentions truck. Having a little bit of trouble getting that truck off the track there. So we're going to go to a bigger tractor. Hopefully they can get that truck moved there.
Well, and Bud's such a good guy. You know, you feel bad for him. Had the turbo malfunction. Now he's got the rear end trouble. Not the run he was hoping for here tonight. We'll see if Aaron Zundel can get it done. He had a good run going first. He let out of it, got back into it. He was still at 330, I believe it was.
Yeah, 330, and the sled was reset, so we have enough room for safety down there. So the green flags are out for Aaron Zundel with the Steel City Shaker. Steel City Shaker putting down a good solid run there.
So we'll get that official distance here shortly. Looks like they snapped the chain on the Super Semi side, trying to get that truck pulled off. It was rolling, then all of a sudden it wasn't.
Yeah, working. They're really struggling there. That truck, definitely something locked up in the rear ends on that truck. And the distance for Aaron Zundel with the Steel City Shaker, 291.06, 291.06. So we'll have a rundown here in that class.
Yeah, Aaron Zundel, one of those guys, he's going to be around the sport for a long time to come.
All right, so rundown in the Pro Mod division. 5th place is going to go to Doug Show with Showtime. 4th place will go to Aaron Zundel with the Steel City Shaker. 3rd place will be Eddie Zedrick with the Thunderbolt. 2nd place will go to Jerry Berghoff with the Attitude Adjuster Reloaded. And your winner tonight, Brad Berghoff with the Attitude Adjuster 2.
We've got one more tractors run on this evening time. And a few more semis on the other side. Well, we're going to bring the crawler in to see if that'll get better.
All right, so looks like they're going to make an adjustment to the sled over on the grandstand side here, as we'll have our Super Stock, Pro Stock tractor class.
So I like to run this class here for some of the local guys. And Jim Swantek, typically you'll see him behind the wheel of the Buck Up Limited Pro, and we didn't see him in the Limited Pro class. There was a lot of questions. Where was the tractor? Talked to Jim earlier. He said, well, Chase, he said, we're having issues keeping bearings in that engine. So he said, kind of gave up on it for the season. They're going to look at it over the winter and be ready for the start of 2026. But he said, I do have something else I can bring to you here at the Westmoreland Fair. And I said, what's that? He said, I've got a diesel Super Stock.
Yeah, we've only seen this tractor out a couple times. So he got it out of the shop, made sure everything was working right on it here tonight, and bringing the Super Stock out tonight. Unfortunately, he said that A-pump tractor just going to do some work on it over the winter, try to make it right. Don't want to take a chance of completely tearing that engine up. So we'll see him back out next year.
Yeah, he says he might have 1 or 2 more hooks for that tractor, but just a little nervous of running that. So he tried to get Bud Cranauer pushed off the tractor with a dozer now. One of those issues when you have a 20,000-pound Super Semi, it's not like you can just lift up the back end with a tractor.
No, typically we see like a 4-wheel drive truck when there's something locked up in the drive chain. We can just take a high lift that truck up and carry it off the track. That just does not work here with the 20,000-pound Semi. I guess if the dozer doesn't work, I guess we could probably get the wheel loader and hook onto the back of it and maybe pick it up with that and at least get it off the track. But we'll see what they can do here. So we'll get the sled reset on the grandstand side and get ready to go with Super Stock, Pro Stock.
I'd like to give a huge shout out to everyone helping out here at the Westmoreland Fair. Been super great to work with. Like I said, we got here early, worked that track. Tonight running dual track, so it's taken twice the amount of CS officials as well. So I'd like to give a huge shout out to all those guys. They're working out there on the track. We've got Reba up there helping out our announcer tonight. And we got Lauren Love in the registration trailer doing a great job. And, of course, all of our video people out here as well.
Yeah, and typically you or I are up in the announcer's booth, but just concentrating on the live stream here tonight. First time for that, so doing a little bit of commentating on the live stream versus announcing from up in the booth.
Well, next week we actually head to the Wyoming County Fair, Mashopin, Pennsylvania. A lot of people ask, where in the world is Mashopin, Pennsylvania? Well, that is actually in the northeast corner of Pennsylvania. Working with a bunch of guys out there, Dave May, our other announcer, and a great crew out there for a massive 3-day show. We'll be streaming that live.
Yeah, and also next Friday night, heading over to the Indiana County Fair. So splitting up, going 2 different directions next Friday night.
Yep, so 2 more hooks for the Super Semi division. One of them being at the Indiana County Fair. And the, actually, sorry, I messed up a little bit. 3 more hooks for the Super Semis. We've got Indiana, we've got the DMF Ohio Cancer Benefit Show, and then we've got Champions Pulling for Children. Yeah,
Champions Pulling for Children. Big show coming up in, what do you call that, Jefferson, Ohio area, I guess we call that up there at the Pine Lakes Raceway. Calvin Brown Jr. actually puts that pull on up there, that pull to benefit Shriners Children's Hospital. And great show going to have up there. I think, what do we have, about 9 or 10 classes to run up there that afternoon?
Yeah, we're going to be starting at 4 o'clock, and for anyone who's never been to Pine Lake Raceway, it's an incredible venue. You know, you're parking in the pits. The pits are all covered by trees, so you can bring all your food, have a little cookout, come early, and it's just a great facility, real spread out. You don't have to be super packed in, super close to the other guys, unless you want to be, of course.
Right.
I know they are doing camping as well. Come ride your side-by-sides, 4-wheelers. I do believe they allow that on those nights as well.
Yeah, when we say raceway, it's not the typical raceway. It's actually an ATV park. There's trails all over that facility, as well as we get to go check out some flat track racing up there. About a month and a half ago now, we got to see some flat track ATV racing up there. So real nice facility up there, nice pulling track. Actually, we pull opposite the way that they run their straightaway for the flat tracks. And works out real nice, lots of pit area.
Well, Bud Fisher, one of the head guys in charge there at Pine Lake Raceway, always does a great job. And I do believe we just got to our trackside. Working on getting Bud pushed off the track there. Bud Crane, our driver of the Bad Intentions. They're going to try to pick up the back end. Now, a lot of people ask, what is that giant box on the back of that semi? Well, that is actually a weight box.
Yeah, there's weight in there, as well as these trucks. Typically on your normal semi-engine, they run an onboard on the engine compressor. They take that off to try to give that engine all the horsepower they can. So in the back of that box, there's a standalone air compressor in there. They keep their ice in there for their intercooler. So a lot of heavy stuff on the back end of that truck, because they lighten these trucks up to get all that weight on the rear drives. So that 20,000 pounds is right over those rear drive axles. So takes a little bit of work here, as the rear ends seem to be locked up in that truck. So going to try to pick it up and get it off the track.
Well, and Brad, as I look down to the starting line, I see a massive cloud of smoke, and I believe that is Jim Swantek firing up his John Deere diesel superstock tractor.
Yeah, out of Clinton, Pennsylvania, John Deere 4840, getting ready to come to the line. All right, so it looks like they are able to get the Bad Intentions truck off of the track.
They're going to try to tow him backwards. Hopefully got the room. You know, tonight, this is one of those places where we got lots of pit room, but it's very spread out, and then down here on the track, we just packed them in. So very tight back there, a lot of competitors, of course, with 9 classes tonight, just packing in the pits. So not a lot of room to move around back there, but great track crew. They're going to get pulled off back there and try to get that truck loaded, which that will be the next thing. That'll be pretty difficult, I think.
Yeah, trying to get that truck loaded is going to be a little bit of work. It looks like that a little bit of fire coming out of the stack on the super stock back there as he gets that thing wound up and ready to go. But it looks like maybe just the back axle on that truck, as the front axle seems to be rolling. They did have it down on the ground with some weight on it, so the front axle does seem to be rolling, so maybe just the back axle locked up.
Well, I'm talking with Jim earlier. Jim Swantek, his whole family here tonight. He's got his wife and his 2 kids, 2 girls that they follow him around to all the pulls. We love having those guys out. Just super cool to deal with. And he said he's a little nervous running the diesel super tonight.
Yeah, a little bit nervous. Only a few passes on this tractor. He's had a couple runs with it. Unfortunately, a couple of the passes he's been out, the tractor is broke. So He was a little nervous, but he thinks he's got all the bugs worked out of this tractor. It was an all-new build. He built this tractor over the last several years, so going to see what the big diesel super will do. So it's going to be diesel versus alcohol here tonight.
Which we actually had at the Butler Farm Show just a short time ago.
Yeah, we had diesel versus alcohol shootout up there. So super stock shootout in the tractor class here. It's going to be a little interesting to see what the alcohol versus the diesel.
Tommy Ermson will be your second tractor up with the Eyesore number 2, the International 7230. It's been a long night, huh, Brad?
Yeah. So it looks like they've got Bud off the track. Looks like Joey Bonner going to be coming to line with the Maximus Prime number 1.
So what'll be interesting tonight, we talked about it earlier, tied in points. Both the Maximus Prime trucks, which are actually identical. They built Maximus Prime number 1. Richard Bonner did contact Dale Francis about building that truck. He built it, ran it for a short time, and then Dick said, you know what, I think we need another one. And it works great for R&D. You know, they've always got backup parts. They've got ship containers full of those V8 Mac blocks.
Yeah, interesting enough, before it was the Maximus Prime, that truck was the Killer. They started out, it was all black. The truck was called Killer, and now the twin Maximus Prime trucks.
Typically, you only see these guys out competing with CS Point Promotions in our championship points series this year. It's the only series they're following. So it's awesome to see these guys out. You know, this is actually one of the first times that these trucks have actually been to Westmoreland. And let me tell you, I don't know if the fans can hear it on the live stream, but the fans are going wild here tonight.
Yeah, this crowd is loving all this truck and tractor pulling action here. And a lot of vehicles. It was definitely quite the game to get everybody parked and get everybody stacked in here, because as you said, there's a lot of pit space, but it fills up quick, especially when you've got a lot of these semis here.
Well, and like we say, it's a giant game of Tetris.
Yes, yeah. Try to get everybody stacked in and still leave everybody enough room to get out as the night goes on. So looks like the Maximus Prime number 1 coming on the line for Joey Bonner.
Talking to Joey Bonner there at the last hook. We were talking after the poll, and I said, Joey, what's it like to be in the seat of one of these super semis? He says, Chase, the biggest thing that people don't realize is how much that truck actually shakes going down the track. He says, you have to just look at the two lines, and you have to try to keep in between them, because it is shaking so much it's hard to keep it on the track.
Yeah, that's something a lot of the fans probably don't realize. This track looks really smooth out there, but when you're down on that pulling surface, and that's any pulling surface, it is actually pretty rough. From spending some time in the sled, I can tell you that I have had some rough rides down the track. And that you think that track's going to be nice and smooth, and you start down it, and you can have some wild rides.
All right, so interesting enough, we've got the Diesel Super on the grandstand side. We've got Maximus Prime number 1 on the infield side. So V8 Mac power under the hood. Running at one single massive turbocharger.
Yeah, the 998 cubic inch Mac motor.
And I do believe they're running upwards of a 6-inch charger on these trucks.
Yeah, right around 6-inch charger on these trucks. Just a little over, I think it's like a 6 1/4, 6.5 inch charger.
All right, this will be interesting here.
Green flags are out for Maximus Prime number 1, Joey Bonner.
One of the young guns on the circuit. Tied in points for number 1 spot. Let's see if he can get it done tonight. Oh,
what a run. That big V8 Mac coming to life, and he was screaming down that track.
boy, a massive pass there, blown by the 300-foot marker like he was standing still. So we'll get that official distance here shortly. And talking to the track officials.
And the distance for Joey Bonner with Maximus Prime, 354.28. 354.28.
All right, so here on the grandstand side, Jim Swantek getting her spooled up. the John Deere Diesel Superstock. Trying to get her off the line there.
Yeah, he's going to see if he can get that big diesel to come to life. Here he goes, Jim Swinetek.
Oh, man.
Oh, what a ride. It just got to bouncing on him there. Not able to get that tractor to plant to the track. Now, he is a test puller, so everything seems to be all right with that tractor. He can turn that run down and come back, so we'll see what he's going to do.
He might just say, you know what, that was my ride for the night. I think I might just pack it up and go home.
Yeah, that wild ride, I think he might just say that's enough for tonight. Take that tractor back to the trailer.
Well, this is one of those deals too. When you're not running the tractor a whole lot, you don't have a lot of data. You don't know about tire pressure, weight, because you just haven't run it. You don't have the hooks on it.
So the distance for Jim Swinetek, 197.72, 197.72.
Said they are going to get the loader to pull him off the track. Having some mechanical issues there. He said he didn't use a whole case of ether to get the fire up today.
All right, so coming to the line over on the Super Semi side. Out of Jefferson, Ohio, with the Maximus Prime number 2. This is going to be Dale Francis doing the driving.
So sled is set on the Super Semi side. Boy, we're going to have them out there tonight. Typically like to have these guys a little bit on the shorter side. But what we see is we got Bud Cranauer. He's broke. We can't really reset the sled, so we can't have him come back. So, I mean, it is what it is tonight. They're going to put on a show for the fans.
Yeah, you guys were up in New York, and these guys were out over 400 feet up there, weren't they?
Well, we got together with all the guys and said, hey, our goal tonight is to put on a show. What do you want to do? And they said, let us run. So we put on a show, and the fans went wild there in Cattaraugus County. So it looks like the sled is ready there on the far side as Dale Francis pulls it up now. Maximus Prime number 2.
Looking to go beyond 354.28. Oh, he had a good run going. He was heading for that white line. It looks like he had to lift.
So not sure what's going on here.
Dale's distance 279.80, 279.80. Looks like maybe he was headed for that white line and he had to lift to stay in bounds because that truck was pulling hard to the right.
All right, so that'll leave one more Super Semi here tonight. Albert Francis running the legendary, and I think we can say legendary, Silver Bullet number 1 out of Jefferson, Ohio.
Yeah, probably one of the most iconic Super Semis on the circuit.
Albert, another experienced driver behind the wheel. He's been pulling for quite a few years. Does a lot of the work here on the V8 Max. So this is going to be the same power plant that's in Maximus Prime number 1 and Maximus Prime number 2.
And one thing for sure with these Super Semis and the Diesel Super, there are no more mosquitoes left in Westmoreland County.
That is exactly right.
So I did get word from trackside. That is why Dale had to lift, as he was flirting with that line over there. So he had to lift, but he did stay in bounds.
So as they get Jim Swinetek pulled off the track here. Jim, big supporter here of CS Pulling Promotions.
get Jim off the track, and that'll bring up Tom Ermsom out of Valencia, Pennsylvania. The International 7230 calls the Eyesore 2 alcohol-powered International.
As Albert Francis rolls on to the far infield track.
So final hook of the evening on both sides.
Pretty good timing.
Yeah, I'd say that worked out pretty well. Final vehicle on each track coming to the line.
And as we end the near the end of our broadcast tonight, I'd like to thank everyone watching at home. CS Pulling Promotions on YouTube and Facebook. Like I say, it's been a long night tonight. A lot of running back and forth here. This two-track show, very interesting. This is actually one of the only two-track shows that you'll see in Western Pennsylvania, and the other one being at the Lawrence County Fair there in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, which we were just at.
Yeah, we do have the capability to run two tracks up at the Butler Farm Show. Just typically with the larger shows, we don't try to keep that equipment moved in and out, but we do have the capability to run two tracks up there. We do it with our stock and antique tractors. So the green flags are out for Albert Francis with the silver bullet number 1, looking to go beyond 354 for the lead.
And the fire out of the sack, that's what everyone loves to see. Oh, Albert Francis on a roll here tonight.
Yeah, he was flirting with that white line, but he kept in it. There was no lift in there. I don't think that's going to be enough for the lead, but very, very solid pass. Definitely going to put him number 2 in the class. And the distance for Albert Francis with the silver bullet number 1, 339.06, 339.06. So run down in the super semi class. 4th place is going to go to Bud Cranauer with Bad Intentions. 3rd place will be Dale Francis with Maximus Prime number 2. 2nd place is going to go to Albert Francis with the silver bullet number 1. And your winner tonight, Joey Bonner with Maximus Prime number 1. So final hook of the evening, getting ready to come to the line in the Pro Stock Super Stock class with the Alcohol Powered International. This is Tom Ermsom with the Eyesore 2.
And then on the other hand, when it has a few hiccups, you get too far. Let's hope we can.
So Jim Swinetek went 197.72, had some issues with the tractor. So we'll see what Tom Ermsom can do. Again, we'd like to thank everybody for watching at home tonight on the live. Green flags are out. Final hook of the evening. Tom Ermsom, the Eyesore 2. Oh, and that tractor having some issues there out around that 150-foot mark. As these alcohol tractors can be very temperamental, and he has been trying a new setup on that tractor. All new turbo setup, so we'll wait to get his distance. And the distance for Tom Ermsom with the eyesore 2:29 even. So first place will go to Tom Ermsom. Second place will go to Jim Swinetech. Again, on behalf of CS Pulling Promotions and everyone here at the Westmoreland County Fair, we'd like to thank everybody for watching tonight and have a good evening.